And continuing with your At Your Beck and Call segment tonight, Mr. Beck is all fired up about the cap and trade bill that quietly passed the House last week while the media was focused on the death of Michael Jackson. So let's talk about cap and trade, shall we, Glenn Beck?
I can't believe we were focused on Michael Jackson. I kept watching, and every time I turn on the TV, I'm like, huh, he's still dead.
Right.
Wonder what else is happening.
The House of Representatives just passed the largest tax increase in the history of the world.
But Michael Jackson, he's dead.
He's not going to have to pay taxes.
He may have, we don't know. I mean, he may not. What I heard today was he may not have been in his right mind. Really? His kid was called Blanket. He may not be in his right mind?
Beck is digressing. We're supposed to be talking about cap and
nothing
trade.
in work.
Okay,
nothing
so,
makes sense.
Cap and trade, or as I call it, tax and kill, because it's going to tax us to kingdom come and kill jobs.
America has absolutely no idea what's coming. This is how crazy it is. We are adopting the standards of California. You know, the state that tomorrow starts writing IOUs and is completely broke. This is going to tax every single American. Here we are in a time when nobody can sell their house. Nobody can sell their house. You know, unless I'll take a donut for my house. Maybe you could get a donut for your house. Now what the government is doing is if they pass this legislation, you have to have a team of government inspectors come in, check the weather stripping, check the windows, make sure you have the right windows, right doors, right weatherproofing, right insulation, make sure that everything is energy efficient, right light bulbs, and if you don't have that, you have to have it done before you can sell your house. America, what are you, nuts?
Here's what I don't think people understand. If you turn lights on, if you have a refrigerator, if you use a microwave, if you blow dry your hair, and Lord knows I do, if you wear clothes, if you eat food, if you get into a car, you're going to pay more taxes.
Oh, nobody is really paying attention to this. There's water rationing in this bill. There's water rationing in this bill. What nobody understands is this is also going to be energy rationing. You're going to be, when they get the smart grid in, they can figure out how much energy you've used. And if you're using too much, they're going to charge you. If you're lucky, there won't be a brownout. They will charge you extra for every. So in other words, let's say you pay, $3 a kilowatt, whatever. You go over a certain limit, you're going to pay 8. You go over that limit, you're going to pay 12. That's the way it's going to work. So, I mean, get used to. If you're my age, do you remember the days? You're not even close, are you?
God bless you.
If you're my age, you remember making fun of the Soviet Union and everybody standing in line for meat and toilet paper.
We're headed in that direction.
That's exactly where we're headed.
But here are the basic economics of this. If prices go up on food and everything else that we consume every day, then that means consumption will go down because people can't afford to buy as much stuff, which means production will go down, which means fewer jobs and higher unemployment.
I wish I would have brought it down. I showed it on my show today. New Jersey is passing out a little box. They're going door to door to give you a free fluorescent light bulb, okay? This is what New Jersey, on the verge of collapse, is spending their money on. Going door to door to give you a fluorescent light bulb. And it says, if everybody in America would do this, it would be the equivalent of taking 800,000 cars off the road. Really? How about we think about putting cars on the road with workers driving the cars? We're taking all these cars off the road. Nobody's going to have a job.
Exactly. And you know what? Let's talk about what this is really about. Cap and trade is not about carbon emissions.
No.
It's not about green jobs. It's not about climate change.
Look,
this is about the government taking more and more control over your life.
I really, truly believe, and it's funny because I said this the other day, and then I read the words of some of the congressmen. I said the other day, last week, I said, look out, Congress, you are becoming irrelevant. You are passing all this giant legislation. It has framework in it that is going to make you irrelevant. One of the congressmen said, we had to pass this bill. I had to vote for this bill. Otherwise, the EPA would pass something that would be worse. The Congress is saying that they will have to answer to the EPA. Don't you see what's coming?
Well, and the EPA, there was a guy, a real great inspector, a legendary guy at the EPA, right, who issued a report earlier this year saying global warming doesn't exist. The EPA suppressed that report. Now we've got scientists all over the world saying global warming doesn't exist.
I saw the charts today. They charted the temperatures going down. They charted CO2 levels going up, you know, that hockey stick, but the temperatures are going down. He also showed the UN was saying that the temperatures were going to continue to do this, and meanwhile the temperature has done this. It's a scam, and it really truly is about power and money. What's happening is our country is splitting. Our country is the middleman, the person, the average person, is now working to pay for the poor that don't want to work, and they're paying for the uber rich, the gigantic global corporations. That can't stand. That won't work.
We know about all the spending, Glenn. Economic stimuli. Now Obama says we might have to go down the road of a second economic stimulus. We know about all of the bailouts. They've got to finance health care, cap and trade somehow, and it's got to come through taxes.
Donald Trump, I heard Donald Trump say to the governor of New York, "Are you crazy? Do you think people are going to continue to take this in New York City?" New York City and the state just passed a tax. Now for the top wage earners, it's 12.6% tax on top of your federal and everything else. 12.6% tax. And they did it retroactively. They passed it in a 900-page education bill in the middle of the night. Didn't tell anybody. Now people are starting to get their taxes and wait. They're taking 6 months of taxes out.
Well, and now they're talking about health care reform, taxing your health care benefits.
Yep.
Okay, cap and trade is tantamount to the largest tax increase in the history of the world. And they're also talking, Glenn, about a value-added tax, which is a national sales tax. So doesn't all of this violate Obama's pledge not to raise taxes on the middle class?
It defies common sense. That's why I wrote the book, Common Sense. If people will get out of their left-right boxes, their Democrat-Republican box, and just look at the news and ask yourself, does this make sense? Can you fix an economy this way? Can you win a war this way? The answer is no.
Glenn Beck, full of common sense. Thank you so much for joining us today.